It's not just the beautiful sights and scenery here in the Caribbean and St. Thomas. It's about the high-flying Malik Abu in the NC State Wolfpack and the dynamic guard Maurice Watson Jr. and the unbeaten top 25 Blue Jays. We're cruising on in to the second semifinal of the night at the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. Welcome to the U.S. Virgin Island Paradise Jam semifinal number 2. A pair of unbeaten teams and one top 25, the 22nd ranked Blue Jays and the Wolfpack of NC State. Only one spot remains in tomorrow's championship game. The winner of this one gets the Rebels of Ole Miss, a very balanced attack top to bottom to knock off St. Joe's earlier tonight. Welcome inside, Darren Goldwater and Kevin Lehman. Thanks for joining us tonight for a matchup that features a lot of potential NBA talents.
Well, the streets in Omaha's downtown Old Market may be empty tonight as the Jay fans get ready to watch the Blue Jays take on the tradition-rich North Carolina State Wolfpack.
As a former coach, Kevin, I'm going to be leaning on you. There's going to be a lot of chess being played between these two coaches because of the differences in styles. Let's start with Abu.
Abu Malik. This young man plays above the rim, 6'8", 240. He's a pogo stick, 40-inch vertical jump, and a quiet 25 against Montana. And for the Jays, it's Maurice Watson Jr. He plays with skates, glides through the defense, leads the nation in assists. Greg McDermott has given Maurice Watson the keys to the Creighton bus, and he's driven right in the top 25.
As good as Watson is, he's not the most popular player on the Blue Jays. For more on that, here's Monica Johnny.
Guys, Huff and Foster might be the one scoring in double figures, but if likes counted as points, it'd be Kobe Paras who'd be leading this Creighton team. This kid from the Philippines, we call him the social media thriller from Manila. He has 455,000 followers on Instagram. Anything this kid posts goes immediately viral, and they brought over almost 300 people with them. It's a sea of blue in these stands tonight, guys.
Paras and a lot of the Blue Jays, all 14 of them, got to see significant run in Friday's blowout victory in round 1. This game figures to be a lot closer. The Wolfpack and Blue Jays for a spot in tomorrow's championship at the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by the U.S. Virgin Islands is not just a vacation, it's Virgin Islands nice. Learn more and visit usvi.com. By NBA 2K17, available now, rated everyone. And by Inada, Japanese maker of full-body massage chairs. Begin your extraordinary Inada journey with a visit to inadausa.com.
Let's get this thing going here for a spot in the championship game. The starters are the same as they have been for both squads. Keep an eye on Cole Huff. He might be the key to this game for both teams.
Mark Godfrey says he is the key. Huff averaging under 10 a game, but at 19 against Washington State, Abu's going to draw that assignment early. Make sure Huff doesn't get going.
It'll be interesting to watch what happens with the Huff-Abu matchup and how it transitions into the rest of the game. Here's Watson, Patton, that's the way to start the game.
Mark Godfrey cannot be happy. They defended that play time and time again in yesterday's practice. He said Watson's going to go, just flip one over his shoulder. Patton throws it down.
Patton very likely has a future in the NBA next year, so does this young man. The highest rated point guard in the incoming freshman class, Dennis Smith Jr.
We've got two talented freshmen on the court tonight.
Pick and pop, Abu late in the shot clock, well defended possession for the Blue Jays. Creighton already has a marquee win. They've knocked off Wisconsin. Watson high off the window.
Now, Mark Godfrey has to be unhappy again because they said, let's stop Watson's penetration. They've got the lob to Patton. Watson to the rim on the second possession.
Smith can't pick his way through. Here's Terry Henderson. That's a great sign for Gottfried in the pack.
Mark Gottfried told us Terry Henderson is his best shooter.
And his best shot blocker and the best in NC State history. Anya turns him away.
73 blocks last season by Anya.
Up and down pace to this game. That's what Creighton wants to do. NC State won't shy away from it. Kansas State transfer Marcus Foster rattles it through.
Well, Foster can hurt you in so many ways. The pull-up mid-range jumper, the post-up, and the deep three.
First marquee game for NC State this year. First time they're playing a team from another Power 5 conference. How are they going to respond? Mark Gottfried, the third head coach in ACC history to take a team to the NCAA tournament in each of his first 4 years. But this is somewhat of a bounce back year. They finished under 500 last year.
Top 5 recruiting class, 2 transfers in Henderson and Dorn. This is a young team, and they're shorthanded in this tournament. We'll talk about it in a bit. They had to leave a player behind. They have another one that won't be eligible, and a concussion on a third.
Reach in there for Watson. Yeah, Rowan has a concussion, so he's not eligible or available today. Might be able to go tomorrow, but they're not certain about that. Omer Yurtseven, who could be a lottery pick, already being touted as such, a freshman out of Turkey. He's not eligible until December 15th per NCAA rules. And they had to leave Ted Capita at home. He's still in the process of updating paperwork required to travel outside the U.S., part of that very talented freshman class. So they're down 3 men against the top 25 team.
And 3 front line players. Look for Creighton and Greg McDermott trying to up-tempo this game and run BJ Anye out of gas. Now here's a concern for Creighton. Watson already picked up a foul. McDermott did not want to put him on Dennis Smith because he didn't want his point guard that has the keys to this bus to get in foul problems.
Traveling violation against Cole Huff. Greg McDermott has accomplished a ton. 51-year-old, the one thing he hasn't done, he's never beaten an ACC team in 4 tries, many of those in the NCAA tournament. He knows this team, though, has the talent to potentially make a deep run. He's got 3 guys with starting experience that come off his bench.
They're ranked 22nd in the nation, picked 3rd in the powerful Big East. He likes this team.
Watson keys a backcourt that's one of the best in the Big East. He fades away around Smith. Hansen in off the bench has the putback.
Hansen, I am the president of Zach Hansen's fan club. He's only shooting over 90% from the field. He's 12 of 13 on the season.
It's true. He said before the game, I like that guy, as they were warming up. Here's Foster now, strong. Hansen tries to keep it alive and will. Out to Watson, who pushes one over to Foster.
That was Thomas out of the deep corner. The sophomore out of Omaha, Benson. Played for Donnie Johnson, a former Blue Jay player.
What you don't want to do is get in a 3-point shooting contest with these Blue Jays. They're one of the best in the country. That's a better possession. BJ Anya's on the board.
Well, no question. NC State comes in and shooting about 20% from the arc. The Jays, 48%.
BJ Anya already looking a little bit gassed. By far the last player to get down the floor. He never crosses half court as Dorn finishes with the left hand.
Now, Dorn is a warrior. He is in attack mode for the Wolfpack at all times.
Creighton playing fast. They're going to keep it on this end of the floor as we get a look at Kevin's keys to victory.
Well, Mark Gottfried said, build the wall. Everybody wants to stop the 3-point shot. He says we have to stop Maurice Watson, build the wall, and keep the Jays guessing. You're going to see the Wolfpack change up defenses. Creighton, they went one and done. They are a -3 on the rebound. They gave up 16 offensive boards in Wisconsin. They cannot let that happen tonight, and they went fast tempo, baby. Let's go up and down the court.
Active hands. Kyrie Thomas will try and trigger it in, not too far down to the left to Mark Gottfried. Dorn will get whistled for the foul. Checking Foster up top. Entertaining start. Blue Jays and the Wolfpack here from the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. It's about as quiet as you're going to see this gym tonight. Creighton and NC State have packed it out. Wednesday night at 8 Eastern, join us for a behind-the-scenes look at last week's Veterans Classic, which featured a special homecoming for Marquette's Steve Wojciechowski, Bryce Drew's coaching debut with Vanderbilt, and much more. Hoops Confidential, Veterans Classic presented by Northwestern Mutual, right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Two of the best backcourts in the country, keyed by two of the best point guards in the country, both on the Kuzi watch list.
You've got the freshman, Dennis Smith Jr., and the wiry senior, Maurice Watson Jr. Watson leading the nation in assists.
Hagner handed it off, gets it back, and they've started 1 for 4 from downtown.
And you see Maurice Watson matched up on Dorn. They want to keep him off Smith so he doesn't get into foul problems. Kyrie Thomas has drawn the freshman Smith.
Henderson uses Anya as a screen. He's hit a couple of threes tonight. He was coming in shooting less than 20%.
Well, Mark Godfrey told me that's his best shooter.
Oh, that's an easier one. Hanson with the flush.
President of his fan club. He just does not miss.
Well, you could have put that one down. Watson has a couple of easy assists. Here's Henderson now, the recipient from Anya. Abu knocks it back to the perimeter. Henderson got into the hip, but he stepped on the baseline first and turned it over.
But Darren, my vertical is not quite the same as Zach Hansen's.
You got height, though. You can't dunk still?
I've got an artificial hip.
Oh,
that's my excuse.
I'm 5'10", that's mine.
How about Greg McDermott? He's gone deep into his bench. This is 9 players, but Henderson, step back, the little handoff from the big man, Anye. Mark Godfrey said Henderson is my best shooter, but hasn't played for 2 years.
What a move. Watson crosses up the freshman, Markel Johnson, who's the first off the bench for the Wolfpack.
Well, set play. The Jays moved everyone up above the free throw line. There was no help defense. Watson with that extra gear.
Well, Henderson left alone. Terry Henderson, the transfer from West Virginia, with an early impact.
Well, he was 4 of 19 from the arc coming into this game.
Hatton on the drive, then he pulls up. One way NC State can certainly stay in this game, give him a chance to win it, is hit from 3 and get easy looks. Freshman to freshman, Smith to Johnson. Hatton, the 7-footer with the hands in the awareness, but Foster can't cash in.
And how about that last play by Dennis Smith? Eyes in the back of his head.
Highest rated recruit Mark Gottfried has ever pulled into campus is fouled. He is tripped on his way down the lane.
And Zierden's going to have a tough time staying in front of Dennis Smith. Again, Greg McDermott does not want to put Maurice Watson on the freshman.
NC State has gone small with Anya on the bench and Markel Johnson in for him. Baseball pass down into the corner from Abu. Markel Johnson finds Henderson. Somebody better start finding Terry Henderson. 12 early points.
Well, you can't look at this year's stats. You got to go back when Henderson played at West Virginia to see how well he shot the rock.
Offensive board for Patton. Smith slapped it free. They're going to get the freshman with a little bit of contact on the arm. Fouls were an issue for Dennis Smith 2 days ago in the opening round. He played 11 minutes in the first half, couldn't get into a flow until NC State pulled away.
We talk about Terry Henderson. He started his career at West Virginia playing for Bob Huggins. 2 years there. Transferred, sat out a year, then got hurt the first game last season. So he has not played for 2 years. Was a great scorer at West Virginia. And Coach Godfrey says it's a matter of him getting his legs back into game rhythm, and we're seeing tonight out of Terry Henderson.
8-0 run right now for NC State. Henderson, one of 2 seniors on this team, so he didn't play for 2 years, but he does have the experience. They view him as the team leader, a steadying force.
He's got 12 of the Wolfpack 20.
Trying to isolate Smith. Patton came out on the screen, and then Smith knocks it to him. Patton, Watson, who tried the extra pass. This one's going against Watson. That's his second foul.
Well, this is what the Jays want to do, but bad decision by Watson at the end.
Watson to the bench with 13 minutes to go in this opening half, down 5, with his team not having scored in over a minute. Clement replaces him.
Clement, the walk-on, has earned some minutes for the Jays.
Played some good minutes in the win over Wisconsin, gives McDermott confidence in this game. They're going to give the ball back here. Markel Johnson will.
And Markel Johnson had a monster game for the Wolfpack. 9 points, 6 assists, no turnovers, and 4 steals. The freshman's confidence is going through the roof.
Well, you might be the president of the Hanson fan club. I was the president of the Markel Johnson fan club 2 days ago.
You did call that one.
Just flashing out at Zierden. Here's Thomas on the slice through. The Omaha native is on the board.
That's what Thomas does. He gained tremendous confidence when the Jays made their run through the NIT. He's carried it over this year, upper body strength. He is the slasher for the Jays.
Abu tries to face up Patton, kept the dribble until the 7-footer slapped it away. Thomas attacks Smith, who didn't want to pick up that foul. Back-to-back buckets for Thomas.
You can see the quick hands of the Jays. We talk about what a great shooting team they are. They are a solid defensive team, the Blue Jays. Active hands, pick up loose balls, and they run.
Whistled for the foul. Thomas has been a steadying force for Creighton. Sophomore with a couple of buckets, but it's the Wolfpack looking for the upset, who lead by 3 early on. Terry Henderson was known as a great shooter at West Virginia, but in 3 games this year, he was 4 out of 19. That's changed a lot here in the first half.
The native of Raleigh, North Carolina, has found his groove. You said 4 of 19. He's 4 of 6 in this game. Ring the bell from the corner, then the step back. Henderson tickling the twine. From the top, number 3 has got the 3-ball going.
12 of the 22 for the Wolfpack, who have played 6 players to Creighton's 9. The depth will continue to be followed, as will the fact that Maurice Watson is on the bench with 2 fouls.
Tyler Clement, the walk-on from Shawnee, Kansas, is going to run this Blue Jay high-powered offense for Greg McDermott.
How about Zierden crashing into the 320-pound Anya, who will pick up the foul. Takes some force to knock him down.
Zierden, now he started every game for the Jays last year. Now he's coming off the bench. Had some surgery this summer. One of those 3-point shooters in the Jays arsenal. Isaiah Zierden out of Minneapolis.
Here's Huff. Thorne was right there with him. That unseals the lid. They had struggled from the arc. They were just 1 out of their first 5. Tie game at 22, about halfway through the half. Dennis Smith Jr. with the deep 3.
You can see Smith's confidence grow throughout this tournament. Came in here struggling at the 3-ball. Great with the assist, but now he's getting more confidence outside.
Thomas great with the ball. Zierden with the ball fake, back to Thomas. Hanson scoops it up. Anya rejects him away. Second block of the half with BJ.
BJ with no blocks coming into this tournament. So he's made made his presence felt inside. There's a loose ball. Zach Hansen didn't realize the big man can get up that quick, nimble on his toes.
7-foot 9-inch wingspan.
Doesn't have the build of a shot blocker, but he certainly has the timing.
Huff, there's that pick and pop, and another three for Cole Huff, the redshirt senior who transferred in from Nevada.
Mark Godfrey telling his team, you've got to go under that screen, especially with Watson out. You don't have to worry about the penetration from the point guard, Clement.
Johnson got caught underneath. Henderson saves it after the Anya deflection. Abu, that's off his left leg. They'll say last touched by Creighton. It was Matt Potter with the call.
Now, State likes to get their postmen up in the high post isolation plays and just let them drive to the basket.
That was within the last couple of minutes of the game. That had been reviewed, and it would have gone over to Creighton. Basketball gods were in their favor anyway. Here they come. Foster sets his feet, rattles one out. Stays with it though, ripped it away from Anya, and Smith takes it back.
Watson limping up the court.
Now it's Henderson with the extra pass to Markel Johnson.
The freshman, Markel Johnson. Keep an eye on him. Mark Godfrey says, I put him on the floor, and I don't like to take him off because good things happen when Markel Johnson's in the lineup.
Good things happen when Cole Huff's out there too. Another three for Huff.
And that one was right in Abu's grill. He's going to have to tighten up and make Huff bounce.
Double comes on Abu. Couple of passes out to Henderson. Man, he's on fire. 15 first half points. Look at the pace of this game. Kyrie Thomas now.
Well, this is what Greg McDermott wants. He wants pace, tempo. They want to wear the big man out. Anya.
Markel Johnson now from the right wing. Every miss, every make, Creighton zoops down the floor. Foster going to the line.
Henderson started off on fire. He is yet to cool. That is from another island. Deep three.
Foster put in a lot of work during his redshirt season, transferring to Creighton last year and in the offseason. Trimmed down, he's at 8% body fat now. Gives him the ability to do a little bit more on the floor.
He is the chess piece that Greg McDermott will move over for. He can post him, let him get the dribble drive. He's got great range for the three ball. Limped up the court about 4 trips ago, but he has now walked that off. Marcus Foster looking healthy.
Our 5th tie of the game, both teams shooting over 50%. Abu, what body control to evade Justin Patton.
Oh, Abu was sensational in the win over Montana with 28 points.
Thomas on the lob, he wanted Patton, but it was Hicks who got into his back. Darius Hicks, who has an opportunity here at the Paradise Jam because of the lack of depth.
Abu just faces up, drives it by. Mentioned 28, he only had 25 against Montana. I was giving him a little too much credit.
Still a career high.
Foster a bit cold from the perimeter for the Jays.
Torin Dorn now elevates and splashes it through.
He is as good as I've seen Torin Dorn with that one bounce, mid-range pull-up.
Now Huff will get fouled by Henderson taking the three. 3 free throws coming to Cole Huff, who's already hit 3 threes. Entertaining game for a spot in tomorrow's championship here at St. Thomas. It's been a great trip for all 8 teams at the U.S. Virgin Island Paradise Jam. They've had a chance to get out on catamarans and explore that water. Tomorrow night it comes to an end. Paradise Jam continues here on CBS Sports Network live from the U.S. Virgin Islands. The consolation game tips off at 6 Eastern ahead of the championship game at 8:30, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Alongside Kevin Lehman, I'm Darren Goldwater. When Maurice Watson picked up his second foul and went to the bench, NC State had a 5-point lead. And even though Creighton doesn't seem like they're in as much of a flow with him on the bench, it's a smaller margin.
It allows Mark Godfrey to change his defense because he kept talking to his team about building a wall so Maurice Watson couldn't get to the rim. Now he can go back out farther and get the three-point shooters. But look who's back in the game, Darren. Greg McDermott is not liking what he's seen out of his offense. He's going to bring his senior point guard, who leads the nation in assists, back in the game. 7:52 left, 2 fouls on number 10.
So here's Cole Huff, who for whatever reason has made a career playing in these neutral court games significantly better than his career average when he plays on a neutral court. Over 20 points a game and almost 60% from 3. Led the team in scoring in Friday's blowout over Washington State.
And a cardinal sin by the Wolfpack. Do not foul three-point shooters.
Because a lot of times they're good free throw shooters as well. Huff has yet to miss this year. He has brought him within 1.
Huff with 11. He had 19 against Washington State. Mark Godfrey told me he's the key to the Jays offense.
Abu gets his own miss, then strong up around Patton.
Abu, a warrior. The pogo stick plays above the rim.
4 different players on this NC State team tested out with over 40-inch verticals. And they do it with the system called DAN. It's what the NBA Combine uses. Abu's vertical is better than anyone has ever tested at the Combine, 44.5. But it's not enough to get up and block the Thomas shot.
Now on the offensive glass, Abu is a junkyard dog. It's like going after a piece of steak.
You think Creighton wants to get up and down the floor? 11 seconds per possession?
And as with Watson on the bench for much of that half.
Dorn tries to get baseline. The reverse trickles off.
Now that's a set play that Godfrey put in to isolate his guys on the baseline.
That possession was about 4 seconds, but Foster continues to stay cold.
But this is the pace that Greg McDermott wants.
Sooner or later, you'd think the legs will have to go for the pack, whether it's Anya or everyone else. They only have 8 players available to them.
And we saw this against Wisconsin.
Oh, Patton! The freshman flying down the lane.
Rising like yeast, flowing like helium, the big man.
Smith bumps off him, goes right off the 7-footer and scores. Foster, good rip move, and he goes baseline around Hicks.
You like this pace, Darren?
Creighton fans do. Blue Jays have hit 5 of their last 7. They've got the lead back. How about the difference that Maurice Watson Jr. makes? He hasn't been in on the scoring here once he's back on the floor, but it's a different team.
They can play much faster. His ability to find players in the open court and defeat the beast, Justin Patton.
Active career leader in assists. He also leads the country in overall assists at the early stages of the year and assists per game. he was complaining. He went to the coaches after the last game. He had 13 assists, 4 turnovers. He was upset. And then change that, guys, on the box score, because one of those or 2, they weren't mine.
Well, he went through every turnover with Jeff Vanderloo and argued 2 of them should not have been his.
Malik Abu whistled for the foul. 7 now on Gottfried's pack.
Now, Greg McDermott put Watson back on the bench. The walk-on, Tyler Clement, back in the game. He has been solid for the Jays.
They'll run Foster over on the baseline. And it was last touched by Hegner, or was it?
Well, that time State came out and showed a little zone. As Mark Godfrey said, he was going to change up defenses.
Tim Comer did a nice job.
Boo was trying to help him out.
Well, the official came, he overturned the call. He was right. Oh, Abu now lost a shoe. It's down just outside of the lane as the kick to Zierden, the son of an assistant in the NBA, converts on the 3.
Well, NC State's going to try to zone the Jays. That is dangerous for a team that shoots 48% from beyond the arc. Ball reversal, get it back to the deep corner. Too many shooters on the court. Let's see if they can stay in the zone.
You know that number I threw out about Cole Huff on neutral courts? I don't know how neutral this one feels. Largest traveling party in the 17-year history of the Paradise Jam, Creighton Bluejays. Hesitation for Smith, who kicks it. Thought he had a good look at it too. Abu, that's a foul. That's his second with 4:58 to go in the half.
That is going to hurt the Wolfpack. Short bench, as we mentioned. Abu's going to have to take a seat here for the last 4:58.
Sean Kirk will replace him, the 8th and final eligible player that the Wolfpack have with them here.
And Sean Kirk did not play any minutes against Montana on Friday night.
So 2 impact players, both with first half foul trouble. Watson picked up 2 in 7 minutes, and Abu picks up his second 15 minutes in.
And here's some more of that bench strength for the Jays. Hegner at the line.
High stepping his way, blocked by Hegner, then knocked out of bounds. It was last touch, I believe, by Kirk under there.
An excellent change of speed by Dennis Smith. The challenge at the rim. NC State out of the zone. Didn't take long for the Jays to shoot him out of it.
Torin Dorn got his hand on it and almost knocked it through the hoop. Now Dorn on this end, blows by Clement, goes right into Hegner and rolls it off to Pat.
Now, how about Pat snatching that rebound? Soft hand.
Foster took the extra step as he caught it. That's precisely the point of emphasis with the traveling on the perimeter.
New directives this year for the officials. Really watch the pivot feet in the post and on the perimeter. Marcus Foster commits the crime.
McDermott working a lot harder than he did in Friday's opener when they had 60 first half points against Washington State and hit 10 first half threes.
Well, Terry Henderson has changed the complexion of this game. The ability to knock down the triple.
Zierden able to get back with them as we're inside 10 on the shot clock. Deep one for Dennis Smith. They're one of their last 7 now to pack off. Tough one inside. Sean Kirk whistled for the foul. 6 straight points for the Blue Jays. They've matched their largest lead of the game here with 3:45 to go. NC State hasn't scored in almost 2.5 minutes, looking at a 5-point deficit here late in the half. Stick around at the half of the 2016 U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam on CBS Sports Network. Monica introduces you to Washington State's Josh Hawkinson, who spent much of his youth here on the island. That's on AT&T at the half.
Now Greg McDermott's going to put Maurice Watson Jr. back in the game here with 3:46 left.
Speaking of Josh Hawkinson, his dad is having a lot of fun. Nels, who's the president of Basketball Travelers, who puts on this tournament every year.
He's got the island rhythm.
That's pretty much his attitude at all times. Came down here on Tuesday. They were setting up this gym. Everybody's running around like chickens without a head, trying to get everything set. And Nels running around as well, but having fun. New this year that beach zone, it was Nels' idea. And when the president says, I want something new, it's going to happen.
And we're still politicking Nels to let us broadcast from the beach zone. You've called the lifeguard chair. I want the tiki bar chair.
That's fine. We've both failed at calling the game from over there. Here's Zierden at the line.
Well, coaches look at what they call the lower box. And Creighton is winning that battle. 22 points in the paint to 14 for the Wolfpack. 12-0 off turnovers for the Jays. And 11-4 second chance points.
Sean Kirk for 3. The last guy in off the bench gives you 3.
But what balances that lower box is the 3 ball covers up a lot of warts. And the Wolfpack have 8.
That was his first shot of the year. Zierden falls down. Watson's pass goes into the backcourt. Dorn finds Henderson.
Watson had to stay out of the fray with 2 fouls.
Still almost came away with the steal.
Well, a nice little run by the Wolfpack.
It's another foul on Kirk.
Watch this play here. A little offense by accident, and Henderson, the beneficiary of the loose ball. Dorn taps it in the correct direction.
Well, you said Watson had to stay out of there, and he did, but he got pretty close. Seconds ago, Watson was talking with Greg McDermott, who reminded his senior son 2 fouls. I don't even want you anywhere around that play.
Well, and part of the game plan was to keep him off of Dennis Smith Jr. so he wouldn't pick up fouls. Mark Godfrey's had to trust this short bench.
Zierden whistled for what is the 6th on the Blue Jays as we check in with Monica.
Hey guys, during that last timeout, Coach Godfrey reminding his team, you know, every team is going to make a run. It matters how we come out of this. He was telling them on offense, it's important to execute. You saw the guards fan out to the corner. He says, when you cut to the ball, make it count. You got to make sharp cuts, and for heaven's sakes, get back on defense. And now they're up, guys.
And when you have a wide open 3, knock one down, as the best freshman point guard coming out of high school last year just did.
Well, there's 9 threes by the Wolfpack. They came in this game averaging about 2 per contest, actually 3 per contest. They've more than tripled that.
Scary moment here. Watson down hard on his right side. Big smile on his face as he gets set for his free throw.
The ability to create the contact. Watson's still trying to gather himself at the free throw line. Now, how did that ball go in?
It's pretty.
Members roll. And he's still trying to gather himself here before he steps up to the free throw line. Maurice Watson Jr.
And Greg McDermott heard us talking about Dennis Smith who Mark Gottfried has called the best guard in the country, didn't so much agree with that assessment. Thinks Maurice Watson is the best guard in the country.
A few things to say about Justin Patton, being one of the best big man in the country also.
Let's keep an eye on Watson. He's still grimacing over there on the bench. 2-point lead for the Blue Jays. Dorn around Clement. He had Hansen down there, couldn't get it into the lane, so here's Huff. A lot of foul issues right now for NC State. 4 players with 2 fouls. Best defended possession yet. Clement got it. How about that from the walk-on?
Shawnee, Kansas, stepping up big in this game for the Jays.
Wow. Smith with that little ball fake, but Sean Kirk runs through Thomas.
This guy earned his stripes, came as a walk-on. A blow by over the left hand, over the right shoulder. Giving excellent minutes for the Jays. Maurice Watson with 2 fouls on the bench.
Sean Kirk has 3 fouls in just a couple of minutes. Now the kick to Clement in the corner. 5 straight points for the walk-on. Who needs Maurice Watson?
Clement becoming a crowd favorite for these Jay fans.
Largest lead of the half here for the Blue Jays. Extra pass to Thomas. That would have brought this roof down.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is time for NC State. They've got to go into this halftime, close this lead, get some momentum.
No Anya, no Abu on the floor, in foul trouble.
If they can survive with those 2 on the bench.
What a move from the freshman Johnson. Hicks attacks Patton and will get the foul on the freshman Patton. The future of the pack is so bright. With Smith, who knows how long he'll be wearing that uniform. Many expect one and done, but Markel Johnson, Capita, Hicks, who's at the line.
Hicks, just a freshman. And we may see Rowan Maverick tomorrow. He's going through concussion protocol.
Hicks is one of those guys who can take advantage of an opportunity with the other pack players not available here and earn himself a spot in the rotation once the team gets deeper as we work our way into December and January. Creighton with another 50-point half. Seconds left. Creighton has burned that last time out. Use it or lose it. Set up this likely final play of the first half with the shot clock off.
And it's Maverick Rowan, who's hit the 81 threes, going through the concussion protocol. I reversed those names.
You know, Maverick, if it sounds familiar, he's named after Tom Cruise character in Top Gun.
Has to be.
Because not many other Mavericks are out there.
And he can shoot the 3 ball. And the way Henderson's lighting it up, more firepower for the Wolfpack. I got a little excited and flipped those names around.
It happens. With Watson on the bench, Foster will key this final play of the half. And bump off Johnson, it's an offensive foul. The freshman takes it.
Oh, what a play by the freshman, Markel Johnson. We talked about legal guarding position. I don't know about that call. Darren, looking like the freshman got his shoulders into Foster.
Gives NC State the opportunity now for the final shot. Johnson almost threw that one away. Here's Smith. Almost. Third time in 4 games that Creighton has put up at least 50 points at the half. Mark Godfrey likes his team's effort despite foul trouble. He got 15 early points from Terry Henderson, who was hot from 3. Monica standing by with Greg McDermott.
Coach McDermott, 60 points at the half the other night, almost 60 this night. What, if anything, are you displeased with your team this
Well, we almost gave up 60, so that's my problem tonight. I mean, offensively, we were fine. We weathered some foul trouble with Maurice Watson, and we still have a 6-point lead. We're going to have to defend better the second half.
How do you like the pace of this game? I know your team likes to get up and down the floor, but NC State seems to be hanging with you guys.
Well, it's perfect for us. You know, we've got a deep bench. They don't. So we want to keep this pace going. The good news with the foul trouble with Maurice, he should be rested the second half.
Good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
And he didn't have to play a whole lot in game 1 either. Halftime of the 2016 U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. 6-point lead for Creighton. Stick around for AT&T at the half. That's next on CBS Sports Network.
CBS Sports presents AT&T at the half.
You're watching AT&T at the half, the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam, where the Blue Jays have a 54-48 lead over the Wolfpack. The Paradise Jam is truly a family business. One family in particular is very happy about this 17th year at the Paradise Jam. They're the Hawkinsons.
When he first signed with a Division I university 4 years ago, it's in the back of your mind, like, maybe he can play there. And then now he is.
Wow, Josh Hawkinson, little Josh, definitely not little Josh anymore.
Well, this is our other home, is really what it is. They learn to swim here. They learn their social skills.
One of my favorite places to go is going to Koki Beach and getting the dog bone, wading in the water with hundreds of fish surround you.
When I think back, first thing I think of is just kind of them hanging out, helping, stuff the bags with the gifts for everybody.
I remember one time where they were on the courts cleaning the stuff up, and it was a ball got stolen by the other team, and they were coming back down. And one of the guys just ran by and just kind of swooped them up with, each in a hand and took them off the court. It was one of those scary and funny situations. And now to see him come back and be one of the players, it's just a great feeling.
It means everything. Growing up here, coming here from, I think, since age 4 up until high school. It's just really surreal to be back and to be playing in this tournament.
Everybody remembers our kids. Everybody asks us about them. And so when you come here, it's not like you're going someplace else. It's like you're coming home.
Well, I think it's extremely important for any athlete to have mom, dad, and his sister who tries to make many games.
My dad's always been there every single step of the way, going to all my games, and really molds his schedule based on our playing schedule.
During the game to game, day to day of that, I just try to stay down. My wife's a little more passionate.
I don't say much, except I mutter to myself, like if there was a great play or if there was a bad play.
I don't want to be that guy jumping up. Now, if he throws one down hard on somebody, I'm up there like I did it myself.
Nels will go, give him the ball.
We're very fortunate as coaches to have families. They stay completely out of the way. They allow you to coach their son, but they're there in an enormous way for any type of support that you need.
This number, it's my mom's number when she wore at University of Washington.
When I first saw him in college running out onto the court and he had number 24 on, it just really blessed my heart. That just felt like really an affirmation to me that he wanted my number. It's not only us enjoying this moment as our family, but it's who we're sharing it with. All of our local staff, all of our friends and our island family are embracing this moment along with us, and to me that makes it more special than just us sharing it. And so it's a full moment, it's full heart.
It's truly special to share this full circle moment with the Hawkinson family and baby Hawk, who's not a baby anymore. We'll be right back with more AT&T at the half. Stay with us. AT&T at the half. We're at the University of the Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. With me now is Billy McKinney. He's the Vice President of Scouting for the Milwaukee Bucks. Managed to come down to the Virgin Islands. I'm sure this was an extremely forced assignment for you. You couldn't really leave this to some of your underlings to come do this work.
Well, it was a tough assignment, but somebody had to do it, and I always enjoy coming down here. This is probably about my 4th year coming here. The field is always good, always great action down here, and this game is absolutely terrific.
Talk about great action. I mean, Creighton up 54-48 over the Wolfpack. I mean, NC State's got a great transfer squad. They've got a great look, but that Creighton team really likes to get up and down. What do you think of this action tonight?
Well, they're playing absolutely terrific team basketball tonight. They're making shots, and they have so many different players impacting the game, and that's what's really been important for them to gain this 6-point lead.
I mean, you talked about coming down to the Virgin Islands to do this work. Have you been here before, and what's your experience been so far now that you're here?
Well, I've been here 4 times for the tournament, and then I've been here for vacation several times. I love to come down. The weather is always great, obviously, and it's just a really nice, relaxing pace.
I want to ask you what you see as a scout in the beginning of the season with tournaments like this when teams only have about 2 games under their belt. What do you see now versus when conference tournaments comes around? As a scout, what are you looking for in terms of the change in a player?
Well, right now, these teams are playing at a late conference, late season pace, really. They're playing very well. They're in great condition. They're executing, and as a scout, when we come down and watch the players, we try to see what their progression is from the beginning of the season until the end.
It's interesting how technology is starting to seep into every part of every sport. The NFL uses a BAM system that some coaches now in college basketball are using to try to assess where these players are technically. How do you guys use some of that information to assess players at the NBA level?
Well, we do the same. We do a lot of analytics work now, but in terms of tracking the players, we've always had a pretty good handle on being able to see players, and in this tournament in particular, there's some players that are standing out that haven't been on the prospect list necessarily. So this is a time for players to kind of showcase themselves in addition to the guys that are typically the stars of the team.
It seems to be a time where some of those intangibles are coming forth too. I mean, early in the season where you can see the passion, you can see some of those things that some analytics necessarily won't tell you about a player.
Exactly. How they interact with their teammates, how they interact with the coaches. We watch all those things, what they're doing off the court as well.
Thank you so much for joining us. You're watching AT&T at the half of the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. We'll be back with lots more on CBS Sports Network.
Thank you for watching CBS Sports presentation of AT&T at the half.
What a first half between NC State and Creighton. It's got us ready to go here for the second half. Darren Goldwater and Kevin Lehman, hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. The tempo, though, and the depth of Creighton, will it be a factor in the second half?
Well, that's the pace that Greg McDermott wanted. He got it with Maurice Watson on the bench most of that first half, so he's got to feel good about where they're at right now.
We didn't think NC State could get in a 3-point shooting contest with Creighton. We were wrong.
They only made 9 all season. Henderson's got 5 of 7. The pull from deep. Then he rocks the rim on that. Henderson was 17 and a half for the Wolfpack, and for the Jays, it's been Kyrie Thomas picking up the slack. He is the slasher for the Jays as he gets it into the paint. And he's like a bulldog going after a T-bone steak when that ball's on the floor. A great finisher. The sophomore from Omaha Benson High School.
9 players played for Creighton. All of them scored. NC State matched their season total with those 9 threes, and Henderson obviously had that huge half. Earlier, Monica spoke with Coach Godfrey.
Coach, I got to ask you about what you think of this pace and what you tell your team at halftime to get them to, pick up the aggression. You got to be able to stay with this fast Creighton team.
Well, we want to run. We like running, and we want to play that way. We got to get our defense back a little bit better. Offensively, we're pushing it at them pretty good. Scored 48 points ourselves, but we gave up 54. Now, a couple of those are threes. A couple of those are layups in the break. We got to get our defense back and get organized and get them stopped. I think once we do that, I think we'll have a better chance to guard them, but their transitions hurt us.
Good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
It's tough to tell which coach was talking. They both said the same thing. I like how we played offensively. We need to make some stops. 2 of the best point guards in the country going at each other, but Watson with fouls.
and Watson with only 10 minutes. It's amazing that they put 54 points up with Watson on the bench for half of those 20.
Starting 5 on the floor for the Wolfpack, starting 5 on the floor for the Blue Jays.
And you see Kyrie Thomas matched up on Dennis Smith.
Anya left alone? Sure, why not? He'll take that one. 2 fouls for Anya in the first half may have worked to his benefit. He sat for the last 5 minutes, and he was gassed.
Well, they got some minutes off the bench. The Wolfpack did.
Oh, count it. That's a 3. And another one for Cole Huff.
And Mark Godfrey just shakes his head. The emphasis in practice for Abu was shut down Huff. He is the key to this offense. Abu gets caught watching the paint dry. Tardy through that screen.
So many players on the Blue Jays can hurt you. You hear about Watson. Patton is one of the best freshmen and big men in the country. Cole Huff is stealing the show. He needs help on Abu. Spins baseline away from the double team. Watson, man, lightning quick up the floor. The last touch by State.
Well, Watson's a transfer from Boston College, and I was at the Blue Jay practice the year that he sat out, and Greg McDermott said, this is the guy that I've been looking for since Doug McDermott graduated. They said he gave him the keys to this Jays bus.
Navigates his way into the lane. There's Kyrie Thomas. Inside, it's Justin Patton, blocked, and a foul. Anya went right up there with him, but got him with the body.
Well, Patton with great length, timing, out of Omaha North High School. Watch him work the offensive glass and ability to rebound in traffic. Played for Jared Anderson, North High in Omaha.
It's hard for me to believe that Justin Patton was relatively unknown through his junior year in high school. And then he blossomed into one of the top big men in the country and one of the top recruits.
Well, Jared Anderson played for me when I coached at Nebraska Omaha, so I'm going to credit him with his development.
Someone needs to take the credit.
But they redshirted him last year, the Jays did, to let him gain some strength.
Had a great game against Wisconsin. I thought he was one of the major keys for the Blue Jays.
Well, he's one of the reasons why these NBA scouts are here today.
Largest lead of the game now for Creighton. Anya trying to back down Patton, who holds his ground. It's a 2-on-1. Showtime!
Patton walking on air. The Jays extend it to 12.
Getting max effort out of these Creighton Blue Jays right out of the half. They have exploded, not just in points, but in some throwdowns.
The transition. There's Patton's ability to run the court, then climb the ladder. The Wolfpack treading water right now. Much needed timeout by Mark Godfrey.
Patton's been the spark for the Blue Jays. Remember his two-handed slam flying down the lane in the first half? Outscoring NC State by 11 since then. So they go to their freshman stud, Dennis Smith.
And he looks smooth. We talked about the pro scouts here to see Patton. They're also here to see Dennis Smith Jr.
And how does he respond in this environment now, down by 10 with all the expectations that surround him?
And we saw an answer right there as he took it upon himself and scored.
Somewhat unfair for some fans to say, is he going to replace Cat Barber and all the points? He's a different type of player. Anya now has Cole Huff. That was halfway down.
Now this is why Greg McDermott wanted the fast pace. He was waiting for his team to get the run. They did. Mark Godfrey calls the timeout to slow it down. Smith with the answer. Now they need to score again on this possession.
Abu not on the floor here. Dennis Smith used the Anya screen, just like Huff, halfway down. Foster out of control.
Got to squeeze the orange. Bounce that one off his knee. But Coach Mack doesn't mind those turnovers if you're playing fast. They're attack turnovers.
Here's Henderson. Foster fought through that screen and stuck with him and then got him on the arm. Second one on Foster.
Henderson with that huge first half, 17 points.
But it was largely the beginning of the half. He had 12 of the team's first 20, 15 quick points, and then Creighton locked in on him.
Mark Godfrey thought he'd be able to change defense. He tried to zone a little bit in the first half and got lit up with the three ball, so it's going to be all man-to-man from the Wolfpack.
Watson, yeah, it's bumped by B.J. Anya here. That's the fourth on B.J. Anya.
And we talked about the ability of Watson to play on skates, glide into that lane. Anya just couldn't keep up. And he's going to have to take a seat.
Dennis Smith Jr. is down. Check it, that's not Dennis Smith, that's Markel Johnson who got that one around midcourt.
And Johnson's still down. He took an elbow from Huff, and now he's got a scrum.
And that's largely because of it.
About the littlest guy on the floor, Watson, trying to settle everyone down. Dennis Smith upset. Dorn trying to cool him down.
Jerry Heater trying to get both benches calm.
Now watch Johnson here. That's just a collision.
You see Abu underneath the basket. He saw it. He was pointing at it, wanting a call.
A little different look. It was a strange play because it was an OB under and they threw the ball to mid-court. Johnson thought he had a play on it, ran into Huff, and we came out all that with a no call.
And then Henderson got the foul, Foster with the three, then taunts, and Foster's teed up.
And Foster's going to take a seat on the bench. Zerden reporting in.
Foster was right in the middle of that skirmish.
How about shaking the defender, but talking a little smack after the three ball. Good call by the officials because this thing was getting out of hand. Settle both these teams down. You can see Watson chirping at Dorn.
Foster, who's been well traveled, at times a great career at Kansas State, at times hit his valleys. He has found a home here at Creighton. He'll be on the bench now to cool down.
But you gotta like the energy from both of these teams.
Quick shot for Dorn.
Well, the Wolfpack took advantage of that.
Watson got around. Markel Johnson stuck with him to affect the shot, but somehow the English that Watson has around the rim, that ball just won't go anywhere but in.
It's so soft when he gets it up there on the 10.
Emotions running high at the U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam early on second half. Creighton getting pushed for the second time in their last 3 games. A couple games ago it was Wisconsin who they held off at their place. Thanksgiving night, CBS Sports Network is in Botswana as coverage of the 2016 World's Strongest Man gets underway with episode 1. Witness incredible feats of strength from the stunning African countryside Thursday at 8 Eastern right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
Well, Kyrie Thomas got a foul called. Coach McDermott's talking to the official about legal guarding position. As Thomas thought he was in good position, the offensive player knocked him down in the foul second against Thomas. Just making a point for a later call.
You know, all teams,
McDermott,
they all came here with a similar mindset, telling us it's about figuring out where your team is at this early point in the year. Greg McDermott's going to have a better feel than most because of the toughness of his schedule early on before they got here. Huff flashes right out at Dorn, who connects on another 3.
Now, how about the Wolfpack from the three-point line? Came in this game shooting 20% from beyond the arc. 11 of 20, over 50% in this game. Throw away that scouting report.
Patton last to touch it. Those 11 are 2 more than they had hit in their first 3 games combined, and it started with Terry Henderson in the first half.
Well, you look at the scouting reports, you can prepare for a team, but you got to have the ability to change throughout the course of the game. As State has shown their ability to knock in that ball from deep, especially Henderson.
And now Dorn. Turnovers have really been the one bug biting NC State. Difference in this game, the 15 points off of them scored by the Blue Jays.
Well, I like the way Mark Godfrey has managed his bench.
What a pass from Patton. Thomas is undercut by Terry Henderson.
And Thomas goes down hard.
Understandable why the fans are barking because of the heated exchange a couple of minutes ago. There was no malintent here.
But watch the pass by the big man, Justin Patton. No look, bounce pass to a back cut. That's why those NBA scouts are loving this 7-footer. You can't teach that.
Looked to me that Henderson was simply off balance, backpedaling, and it was accidental contact, but Gottfried will take him to the bench, cool him off anyway. Matt Potter just came over to us and said the same thing to us, just an incidental foul, but it's not just a foul because it's his 4th.
Kyrie Thomas trying to shake that hard fall off before he steps to the line.
Leading scorer for the Wolfpack on the bench with 4 fouls. BJ Anya also next to him, 4 fouls.
That's an issue for State.
Here's Dorn. And Huff saves it back in. Didn't want Kirk to get there. Dorn all the way back on the other end.
Now Mark Godfrey's had to go to Sean Kirk, who did not play against Montana. They had to move Malik Abu to the 5 spot. Markel Johnson at the point. That puts Dennis Smith at the off guard.
Watson lobs. Wow, Patton again.
Boy, did I see that one coming.
And now it's Patton who's picked up the technical.
Fish is trying to get this game back under control. Greg McDermott wants an explanation. He's asking Patton, what did you do? Didn't get the right answer. In comes Hansen.
Matt Potter trying to calm down the Creighton bench.
How about Watson? Just throw it up. Big man, throw it down. He was chirping, so I don't know if that's what the call is, because he didn't hang on the rim.
It's tough to tell what he said. Clearly something was said. Did he direct it at Dennis Smith? And if so, that could be a reason. It's fired up these Blue Jay faithful. Big bucket from Anya. Abu.
Abu with the answer.
Markel Johnson falling down. Thomas had him off balance. Coming back over to NC State. BJ Anya will come in with 4 fouls. This game feels anything but the 4th game of the year.
Excellent point. And we heard Monica Jonikin's interview at halftime about how this did have the feel of a game in February or March.
Dennis Smith able to attack and get to the line.
Well, these are 2 tradition-rich and proud programs. The Wolfpack with NCAA titles in their trophy case. Creighton joining the Big East, leaving the Missouri Valley. They have upgraded their facilities, but there's the foul problems for State. And we've mentioned what a different look this Wolfpack team is going to be when they get their players back healthy.
3 impact players. Capita, who's not on this trip. Rowan, who's a great 3-point shooter, and Yurt 7. There's another 3 from Hegner. The most starts of any guy on this team, but he comes off the bench.
Well, he is the stretch 4, the same as Huff. They use him on that pick and pop. Great length at 6'10", you can't get to him.
Markel Johnson may have forced that one up a little bit. This is against Abu. That's 4 on Abu. Anya, Henderson, and Abu all have 4.
Abu gets tangled. Hansen secures it. And now Abu tries to plead his case the way down because he's actually got his arm caught in there by Hansen. You see why he'd be upset on that call. Hansen with a smart play. Pinned Abu's arm, pulled him down and make it look like Abu committed the crime. And now NC State has to go zone.
Mark Gottfried hates going zone. But he just doesn't have bodies.
This is not a good team to zone.
Anya, remember he's got 4 fouls. Maurice Watson, that zone works. Got a bad deep shot late in the shot clock. Smith scoops up the ball after he lost the handle and converts with the left.
We've heard all about the talent of this freshman. He joined North Carolina State at semester last year. Look at the change of direction. The ability to kiss it off the window. Ooh, that's a wicked crossover.
He was able to join early because he graduated early and suffered a knee injury, so he got to Raleigh. He was able to rehab the knee with the Wolfpack training staff. He, Torin Dorn, who was sitting out, transferring from UNC Charlotte, and Terry Henderson, who was injured. The three of them in the ACC tournament run were sitting at the end of the bench. They dubbed themselves the Rescue Squad. Got a foul here. An armbar well away from the ball on Smith. Junior out of Berlin High School in Wisconsin.
No, Smith's second. You talk about the talent of Smith. Now, he is preseason first team ACC with all the talent in that league. You've got a freshman coming in, first team pick.
Nice find. Anya maybe took one extra dribble. He's bailed out. He'll head to the line.
Hansen, the whack on the wrist.
Creighton has had a chance to pull away in this game, and it seems like they were poised to do it. Then you tack on the fouls, 4 fouls for 3 different Wolfpack players, yet Creighton can't get away.
Well, I think the fray that we've had out there on the court and the tempers flaring have helped North Carolina State more than it has helped Creighton. It's kind of interrupted the flow of the Blue Jays. This gave NC State a chance to kind of regain their composure, and they're just kind of hanging around.
Hansen goes up high for that one, and he finishes.
Again, I told you, I'm the president of Zach Hansen Pen Club. Watch this finish. The big man from Pierre, South Dakota.
This season is more than just basketball for NC State. For more on that, here's Monica Jonigan.
Well, guys, if you look at the Wolfpack coaching staff, you'll know some special facial hair, and there's a special reason for that.
We've got a great friend, works in the Wolfpack club at NC State, Chris Combs, developed ALS. And so we're trying to raise awareness and a little bit of money, and so our staff said we're going to go to kind of the No Shave November for him. So hashtag Team Chris Combs, chriscombs.org. So hopefully that'll help him a little bit.
That website again, teamchriscombs.org. A former baseball player drafted by the Pirates. His dad is also here. And that is Francis there on the far right adjusting his microphone. His dad had been to every NC State football game since 1966. A streak of 598 football games. But he chose to miss yesterday's game to make this trip with his son down to St. Thomas.
Certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to Chris Combs.
Here's Hansen finishing off the three-point play. Matches the largest lead of the day now for the Blue Jays. Smith, a little bit of a floater. In traffic, he's knocked down. And here's Foster back on the floor now. First time since his technical, all the way to the rim.
Foster with the Euro step. Danger area for the Wolfpack.
This is against Dennis Smith.
Zaire caught the edge of that screen.
It's the 4th foul on Smith. They got Sean Kirk. That's a break for NC State.
Watson with this great move. Dorn tries to stand up there, but that's difficult to defend open court. And here's Zerden. You can see Kirk with the shoulder.
Clearly the right call. So it's Kirk's fourth. Anya trying to defend Hansen with 4. I mean, what can you do right now if you're the Wolfpack? You can't play a physical game against a big physical team out of the Big East.
Well, how about Hansen? Comes off the bench. It is so efficient for the Jays.
BJ Anya commits the foul, and he is fouled out.
Hansen with 9 points. He's 4 of 5 from the field, shooting over 90% on the season. He's done that in 14 minutes of action.
Yeah, if the trio of Dorn, Henderson, and Smith were the rescue squad last year, imagine what Mark Gottfried is thinking now, looking down his bench, figuring out who comes in for Anya, and looking down at Maverick Rowan is down there. Omer Yurtseven will be eligible December 15th, and the guy that didn't travel with him, Ted Capita. This will be a very different team, a much deeper team, really in a couple of weeks.
Well, Darren, we have 10 and a half minutes left. They're in danger of running out of players, as Kirk has 4, Abu has 4, and Henderson has 4.
Let's check in with Monica.
Well, what Creighton's not running out of is support. If you take a look at the first 2 rows behind their bench, it's what they're calling the Filipino contingent. I talked to their SID. They brought 300 people with them, and these folks came on their own. They showed up to the gym extra early just so they could occupy the first 2 rows behind the bench. That is the Kobe Paris fan club back there, guys.
Kobe is somewhat of a legend. His dad, considered the Michael Jordan of the Philippines. His brother is also a star over there. And if you missed Monica's report early on in the game, he has over 400,000 Instagram followers. Throws up something on Instagram, and he's getting 40,000 likes in a couple of minutes. Unanswered now for the Blue Jays.
And some of the firepower is on the bench with Abu out, sitting out with 4. Henderson over there with 4. Henderson with that big first half, but only 2 points here in the second half.
Hansen slides down to cut off the penetration of Markel Johnson. Now there's 5 on the shot clock. Markel Johnson, pretty looking shot for a guy who was described to us as someone who's hesitant to shoot.
Well, another young man reclassified. He is only 18 years old. Markel Johnson, number 11 for the Wolfpack.
Look at that ball movement down to Hegner. On Watson there. Mark Gottfried on the last possession imploring his guys, play hard, run hard. You know, they know the situation as well. They know they're sitting there with 3 players with 4 fouls, 1 out of the game. In a pretty dire circumstance. He doesn't want them to pull back.
And that last run has taken some air out of the sails of North Carolina State. And now you've got Greg McDermott coming back with Huff, with Patton. He's got his 5 starters back on the floor. Great contribution from the Jays bench.
That was one of the first things that he said to us as soon as they got off their plane earlier this week. He said, in response to you, it was less than 24 hours after beating Wisconsin. He said, yeah, you know, I have 3 starters coming off my bench. We're really deep.
Has Zerden with starting experience. Hegner with starting experience. Hansen with a lot of minutes. Just a few starts, but unbelievable experience and depth of this Jays team. And you made the comment to me earlier during this, they're ranked 22nd. They look like a top 15 team.
So many ways they can beat you. All the positions on the floor, and there's depth at those spots.
And they know their identity at both ends, offensively and defensively.
So much of that identity is Maurice Watson, end to end again.
Well, you got the little general running the team.
There's your man Henderson. Huff picks up that loose ball with 9 minutes to go. You try and think about what the ceiling is for this Blue Jay team, and I don't want to put a cap on it. Do I think they're better than 22? Absolutely. What a find. Foster, that's easy from Maurice Watson.
Patience. Excellent patience in the half court. Watson's man got caught watching the paint dry. Watson makes the post cut. Easy basket. And you know that your point guard, that was Foster, but you know your point guard Watson's going to find you as Foster makes that back cut.
7 assists now for Watson. That's the second time we've seen Dennis Smith sort of cradle it, fake it behind the back. He finishes this time. Now Foster got the 2, steps back for the 3. 5 players in double figures, second time this season already in 4 games for Creighton. Speaks to the depth.
Greg McDermott got great minutes out of his bench. He brought his starting 5 back in here. Fresh legs, big push.
Almost trying to put this game away. The lack of depth for NC State. The extreme depth for the Creighton Blue Jays is on display.
Welcome back to the Paradise Jam. The Blue Jays have a comfortable lead over the Wolfpack. I'm standing here with the athletic director for UVI. You must love seeing your gym this full and this great action happening here at the university.
Monica, yes, you're right. I love this, and I think this is what the UVI athletic program will be in the future.
You're going to be joining the NAIA. What do you hope to achieve? Do you hope to get UVI Bucks fans in here with some big-time action in the NAIA in the future?
Definitely. I believe the Paradise Jam tournament is a perfect example of what we can be and we're going to be in the future in the NAIA.
Looks good to me, guys. Back to you.
What great exposure as you're moving into the NAIA to have your arena packed with action that feels like March type of basketball.
And Monica Jonikin, a former player here at UVI.
Coming into this game, Kevin, if you would have told me that NC State was going to hit 12 threes and Henderson was going to go off in the first half like he did, I would think that Mark Gottfried's group wouldn't have the look on their face right now that they do.
12 of 24 from the arc for the Wolfpack. Just not enough. And we talk about those lower box points. 44 points in the paint from the Blue Jays. Just 20 from the Wolfpack. And how about points off turnovers? 17 for Creighton off only 3.
Off 8 turnovers. That's more than 2 per turnover.
I'm going to say, is that possible? Is that math possible? There's my guy again. Hansen, now 5 of 6 from the field. And the one he missed was blocked.
Smith wanted to get it back down there to Malik Abu. Couldn't do it because of Hansen. Henderson all the way in.
Henderson with that huge first half, 17 points. Just 4 here in the second stanza. The transfer from West Virginia. saddled with foul problems.
He's been called the stabilizing force because he is that senior leader. Guys look to him whenever things aren't going their way. And he looked like the veteran in the first half.
Well, he's 7 for 10 from the field, and Mark Godfrey telling me that he was his best shooter.
They're even bouncing the right way now for Creighton.
Now we're going to talk about shooters. There's one right there, Isaiah Zierden. Knocked in 73s last year for the Jays. And that's a guy coming off the bench this season.
Henderson sent Foster flying by, and there's Zierden on this end. Zierden again. Blue Jays feel it now. 101 points with 6 minutes to go. Dorn may have gotten away with the travel there. Here's a boo over Zierden.
The boo waiting for contact. It never came. Misfired and close.
Creighton doing something it doesn't typically do. They're using the shot clock. Huff can't break down Dennis Smith, but at the buzzer, Smith's gonna foul him just before it.
Well, we talked about Isaiah Zierden and the firepower of the bench for the Blue Jays. Zierden chucks one from deep. Gives the 3 signal. I thought we were going to see the first shot clock violation for the Jays this season.
Maybe the only one.
But Huff bailed out at the last second with a foul.
This is just the 3rd time in Creighton history 100 points in back-to-back games.
Huff taking a seat. Tyler Clement back on the bench. Great minutes from that walk-on backup point guard, especially in the first half when Maurice Watson was in foul problems.
Another 3 for Henderson. That's his first since the first half.
And Henderson settled with that 4th foul, sat for a long time. It took the air out of the sails of North Carolina State.
Watson almost daring Markel Johnson to come out there and guard him. Oh, that's wide. Wow.
Is the rare ability to score amongst the Giants.
Smith, all he wanted was the contact. He's not going to get the call. It's out of bounds. 105 points has matched the U.S. Virgin Island Paradise Jam record.
See this replay here, a little hesitation. He's going to play with the pill. Teardrop. Easy 2. 5'10", 175 pounds.
We're gonna get to see him make some moves again. Abu with the quick hands, knocks it free. Just the 2nd turnover for Watson today. Hanson just shoves Smith out of there.
And Watson having a bad day in his terms with the assists. He's got 6.
Leading scorers, that's 6 of them in double figures. They've played 9. Now 10 with Harrell into the game. And they could easily have 7 or 8 into double figures. Zierden has 9, Hegner has 8.
Second time this season with 5 in double figures. They've got 6. We have 4 minutes left.
Kevin, I said it to you after we watched the Wisconsin game before Creighton came down here. I said these guys are scary good.
Well, the Wisconsin game was the Jays coming out party. Number 9 Wisconsin coming into the CenturyLink Arena in Omaha. That place was rocking. Close game until the run at the 6-minute mark by the Jays and put that thing away easily.
Look at him, goes right at Abu. He's not able to put the finishing touch on it. Watson was a big part of that. Watson tested the NBA waters. He found out he has to be more of a team player. Marcus Foster has helped him out there in that capacity. He's got a running mate now in the backcourt, so he's able to distribute it even more. What a show the Blue Jays are putting on here in St. Thomas. With all the depth that Creighton has, it doesn't take a great basketball mind to realize that Maurice Watson is the guy that makes this team go. Bad day today, just 6 assists.
All Big East, first team preseason selection, and there's some great guards in the Big East on the Wooden Award watch list, Bob Cousy watch list. Maurice Watson Jr., transferred from Boston College out of Philly.
With the 6, he has 38 assists now on the year. 18 turnovers with the 2 that he has tonight. What a game this was in the first half. High energy, up-tempo.
Well, the depth just worked against NC State. Now, we talked about this going to be a different team when they get a full slate back. Boo playing with 4 fouls, but he got that isolation play there at the elbow again, was able to draw the foul and the contact.
It was a 6-point game at the half. Creighton led. They closed the half on a little bit of a run. But Henderson was spectacular. Abu was good. Anya saddled with some foul trouble.
Well, Henderson with 25. Dennis Smith Jr. with 21.
A new tournament record now, 107 points for Creighton. Records are just falling like flies here in St. Thomas. We saw the Rebels guard Burnett score 41 points a couple of days ago for a tournament record on a tournament best 9 threes. And now Creighton comes in, drops 103 on Friday, and 107 with 2.5 to go here.
Greg McDermott going to his bench.
Looking for the assist there to Hansen. That instead will be a turnover, and Dorn curls it over and through.
The Wolfpack, they are effective in transition. They just did not have enough opportunities. And one of the reasons why is number 10, they're handling the ball in white. The ability to run the show for the Jays.
It's going to be a tough turnaround for NC State tomorrow. They'll play in the consolation game at 6 o'clock Eastern. And they're going to get St. Joe's as Zierden becomes the 7th player into double figures. He's got 12.
Floodgates are open. Zierden, 4 of 4 from downtown for the Jays.
Greg McDermott can finally be comfortable enough to go deep down his bench. Kobe Paris among the group that came in. Harrell also into the game. Crumple has checked in along with the freshman guard Mintz, who almost knocked that one into the NC State bench. Instead, it's a 3 for Henderson.
And Mintz and Clemente battling for that backup point guard spot. Good chance for Mintz to get some experience.
Looked pretty good against Washington State.
And Martin Crumple also is a guy Coach Mack speaks highly of.
Showing off their freshman class against the highly touted class of NC State. So it'll be the team that scored a tournament record points in a single game against Ole Miss, and the individual who scored a tournament record 41 points in the opening round. That'll be our championship game. It'll be the Rebels and the Blue Jays of Creighton.
Coach Mack, a few words to his point guard.
Even in this atmosphere, even in the tempo of the game, the emotions of the game, Creighton does not have a player that played 30 minutes in this game.
And the same thing as Washington State 2 nights ago. Went 14 deep, so fresh legs tomorrow night for the Jays.
Tomorrow night, you think about down the line in Big East play, Big East tournament, the grind at the Garden. I know Villanova, the national champs. I know the Big East is a fantastic league. This is a very good Blue Jays team.
Well, you like the way their schedule sets up when they start league play. They have 2 home games to start that off. Seton Hall being one, and I think they might have the defending national champions coming in also.
So that'll do it. Creighton runs away from NC State, really runs them into the ground in the second half. Piles on 112 points and advances to the championship. They'll get the Rebels of Ole Miss. NC State will have to bounce back and take on St. Joe's tomorrow in the consolation game. Both of those can be seen right here, 6 Eastern and 8:30 Eastern for the championship. Wouldn't you love to see what NC State becomes in a month and a half?
Well, it would be a different team, and Mark Godfrey talked about that. This is a chance for some of his other players to develop. They will be used later on in the year. But you got to be impressed with Creighton's bench, their firepower, and the guy who runs the show, Maurice Watson Jr.
The largest traveling party in U.S. Virgin Island Paradise Jam history gets treated to a championship game tomorrow night. And a little bit more enjoyment here in St. Thomas. Maurice Watson's with Monica.
You got 13 points. You guys have crushed another Paradise Jam tournament record in terms of scores. Talk to me about this Creighton team. You guys are getting up and down the floor, doing really well.
The only thing really different about this team is our hunger and our defense. We know we can score with the best of them, but we want to challenge ourselves to defend, and I think we've done a good job there so far this season.
People have said Wisconsin was your coming out. I mean, now you're in high society. Talk about what you hope to accomplish going forward as a team.
We just hope to accomplish playing the way we want to play. Play within our principles and playing together as a team, and, you know, trying to play through adversity, because we got a lot of tough games coming up, and we're only going to win if we trust each other.
Okay, good job. They got the championship coming up.
Kevin, what do you expect to see? Ole Miss can get up and down the floor. They can play wild. Ole Miss and Creighton tomorrow night.
And Ole Miss likes to change up some defense. They're going to have to do to try to get the Blue Jays out of tempo. But the key, once again, is Maurice Watson. You got to slow him down.
Depth could also be an issue for Ole Miss. They're not exactly the deepest team either, but it should be interesting as you've got Ole Miss, their transfers of Neal and Burnett in the backcourt going up against this very deep and talented Creighton team. That'll be at 8:30. That's following our third place game between St. Joe's and NC State. The ceiling is high here for the Blue Jays.
Well, you've got Burnett, a dangerous player for Ole Miss, threw in 41 in their opening round. So he's a guy that can, if he gets that hot hand again, can cause problems for the Jays. But a guy like the Jays with all that depth.
Not a single player played 30 minutes today for the Jays. 7 players placed themselves in double figures, and they just ran away from NC State in the second half. Coming up next, the 2016 Mystic Terracross Championship Final Showdown at Jacksonville. For Kevin Lehman, Monica Jonigan, our entire CBS Sports Network crew, great job today. A lot of fun working with you.
I'm Darren Goldwater. In association with Basketball Travelers, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.